If you ever hear your own voice calling your name from inside a forest, run the opposite way. Because whatever is calling you already knows you. In 2019, deep inside the Black Hills National Forest, 3 friends went on a weekend camping trip. Ryan Miller, Jake Turner, and Lucas Reed, all experienced hikers. They knew the trails, knew the risks. This was their first time. The plan was simple. Camp for 2 nights. Hike deeper into the forest. Disconnect from everything. And for the first day, everything was normal. Clear skies. Quiet woods. The kind of silence that feels peaceful. Until night came. Around 11 p.m. The forest changed. No wind. No insects. No distant animal sounds. Just silence. Heavy silence. Ryan noticed it first. Why is it so quiet? Jake laughed it off. Relax. Bro, it's just the woods. But Lucas didn't say anything, because he felt it too. That same watching feeling, like something was aware of them. Not hunting. Not moving. Just watching. Then, they heard it. A voice. Faint. Far away. Calling out. Ryan. All 3 of them froze. Ryan frowned. Did you hear that? Jake nodded slowly. Lucas whispered. That sounded like you. Ryan's face went pale. Yeah, but I didn't say anything. The voice came again. Closer this time. Hawaii. Same tone. Same pitch. Same exact voice as Ryan. Perfectly copied. Jake stood up. Okay, not funny. Which one of you is messing around? No one answered, because all 3 of them were standing together. No one had moved. And then, a twig snapped from the trees just beyond the firelight. Something was there, watching. Ryan grabbed his flashlight and pointed it into the darkness. Nothing, just trees, shadows. But the voice came again, now from a different direction. Jake's blood ran cold, because this time, it was his voice, calling his own name. Lucas whispered, No. It washed over, from behind them. A third voice, Lucas. Now all 3 voices echoed through the forest, layered, perfect, each one mimicking them, calling them from different directions, like something was circling them, learning them. Jake said, We're leaving. Right now. He started packing fast, hands shaking, dropping things, the fire crackling louder than before. Or maybe everything else had just gone silent. But just as they were about to leave, Ryan stopped. Wait. Jake snapped. What? Ryan's eyes were fixed on the trees. Jake just heard something else. Lucas whispered. What? Ryan swallowed. My mom's voice. The other 2 froze. No, that's not possible. But then, from deep in the forest, a woman's voice cried out. Ryan. Help me. Desperate. Panicked. Real. Ryan took a step forward. Jake grabbed him. T.O.N.T. But Ryan shook him off. That's my mom. She's hurt. Lucas shouted. That's not your mom. The voice screamed again. Closer now. Hawaiian. N-T-L-E. Ryan ran straight into the trees. Hawaiian. Jake yelled. Chasing after him. Lucas followed, branches hitting their faces, feet slipping. Flashlights shaking. Voice kept calling, leading them deeper, faster, further away from camp. Then suddenly, it stopped. Complete silence. Ryan slowed down. No? Nothing. Just darkness. Then, a whisper, right behind him. Soft. Cold. Not his mom's voice anymore, but something else. Something wrong. Found you? Ryan screamed. Ryan spun around. swinging his flashlight wildly. A beam shook through the trees. Nothing. No one there. But the air felt colder now. Thicker. Like the forest had closed in around them. Jake caught up, breathing hard. Where is she? Ryan's voice trembled. She was right here, I heard her. Lucas grabbed both of them. Listen. They went silent. At first nothing. Footsteps. Slow, crunching leaves. Circling them. But no matter where they pointed the flashlight, nothing was there. Only trees. Only shadows. Then the voices came back. All at once. Ryan's voice. Jake's voice. Lucas's voice. And now, more voices. Dozens. Men, women, children. All calling names. Trying for help. Laughing. Whispering. Layered together like a nightmare. Jake shouted. STOP. And instantly, everything went silent. Too silent. Not even their breathing felt real. Lucas whispered. It's playing with us. Ryan backed away slowly. We need to go back now. But when they turned, the path was gone. No trail, no marks, no sign of where they came from. Just endless forest, in every direction. Jake muttered. That's not possible. But deep down, they all knew this wasn't normal anymore. Then Lucas noticed something. Guys, his voice cracked. Look at the ground. They aimed their flashlights down. Footprints. Fresh, bare human footprints. Surrounding them. Hundreds of them. All overlapping. All circling where they stood. But none leading away. Jake whispered, We're not alone. Then, a branch snapped. Right behind Lucas. He turned. And finally, they saw it. Between the trees. Something tall. Too tall. Its body stretched unnaturally. Limbs too long. Head slightly tilted. Just like before. But its face kept changing. Flickering. Ryan's face. Jake's face. Lucas's face. Over and over. Like it couldn't decide which one to wear. Then, it's Pope. Not one voice. All of them. At the same time. We were waiting. The trees around them creaked. Like they were bending. Closing in. Jake grabbed Ryan. TONTRUN. But it was too late. Lucas panicked. And ran. Straight into the darkness. OUCAS. They screamed. He was gone in seconds. His footsteps fading. Then, his voice came back. From the forest. Guys, I'm okay. Jake shook his head immediately. That's not him. But Ryan stepped forward. No, that's Lucas. The voice came again. Closer. Clearer. Guys, I found the trail. Come here. Jake grabbed Ryan harder. Hello. Listen to it. The voice repeated. Exactly the same way. Same tone. Same words. No change. Like a recording. Ryan's face went pale. That's not right. Then, a new sound. Lucas screaming. Real this time. Terrified. HELPMEITSNOTHUMAN. The scream cut off instantly. Silence. Jake whispered. We don't move. We don't follow anything. Ryan nodded slowly. But then, something stepped into the light. Right in front of them. Lucas, standing there. Breathing normally. Unharmed. Smiling. I'm fine. See? Jake whispered no, because something was wrong. Lucas was sweating. Was shaking. Didn't look scared. His eyes, too still, too empty. Ryan said, Lucas, what happened? Lucas tilted his head, at same unnatural angle, and said, Nothing happened. A long pause. Then, he smiled wider, and added, Not yet. Jake calls Ryan back. Ran. This time, they both ran, branches tearing at them, heart pounding. no looking back, because behind them, they could hear it, running too. Not on two legs, not on four, something else, fast, catching up, and then, right behind Ryan, his own voice screamed, WAITFORME. Ryan almost stopped. That voice, it was perfect, desperate, panicked, real, WAITFORME. Jake grabbed him mid-run. DONTYOUDARRESTOP. He kept running, faster, lined through the darkness, branches whipping their faces, lungs burning at the footsteps behind them. We're getting closer. Too fast. Too many. Not just one thing anymore. Dozens. Running, crawling, closing in. Then suddenly, the ground disappeared beneath Ryan. He fell hard, rolling down the slope, crashing into dirt and roots. Jake slid down after him. They landed at the bottom, groaning, dazed. And then, silence. Again. Brian sat up slowly. Jake? I'm here. He looked around. The forest looked different here. Darker, sicker. The trees twisted unnaturally, like they'd grown the wrong way. And in front of them, there was something they hadn't seen before. A narrow clearing, and in the middle of it, a structure. Held. Decaying, early standing. Brian whispered, "What is that?" Jake shook his head. "I don't know, but we're not going near it." But then, from inside the structure, a faint voice. Weak. Broken. Help. Brian's heart dropped. That's Lucas. Jake clenched his jaw. No. It's not. The voice came again. Right now. Please, it hurts. Ryan stepped forward. I'm not leaving him. Jake grabbed him again. You don't get it, that thing copies. It learns. But Ryan pulled away. I don't care. And he walked toward the structure. Slowly. Jake cursed under his breath. But followed. He reached the entrance. A crooked wooden doorway. Pitch black inside. The smell. Rotten. Damp. Like something had been there a long time. Waiting. Ian whispered, Lucas. The voice answered instantly. I'm here. Too fast. Too ready. Jake muttered. That's wrong. But Ryan stepped inside. The floor creaked, each step echoing. The darkness felt thicker inside. Like it swallowed the light. Then, they saw him. Lucas, sitting in the corner. Head down, breathing heavily. Lucas. Ryan rushed forward. Jake stayed back, watching. Something last, right? Ryan knelt beside him. Hey, we're here. You're okay. Lucas slowly lifted his head. His face, hair streaked, shaking. I thought I was gonna die. Ryan hugged him. You're safe now. Jake shouted suddenly. Or why? INMOV. What? Jake's voice shook. Look at his legs. Ryan slowly looked down, and his blood turned to ice, because Lucas's body, from the waist down, was sitting on the floor. It was sinking into it, like the ground was swallowing him. No, not the ground. Something underneath. Moving. Breathing. Jake whispered, that's not him. Lucas's face slowly changed. A fear. The tears froze. Then, that same unnatural smile spread across his face. Too wide, too raw, and in a voice that was no longer human. Almost had you. Floor beneath him split open. Darkness underneath. Ding. Endless. And from that darkness, hands, dozens of them. Thin, pale. Reaching up, grabbing, tried to pull Ryan in. Jake lunged forward, grabbing Ryan, yanking him back just in time. The Lucas thing let out a horrible sound. Not a scream, not a laugh. Something in between. Then it dropped, pulled down into the darkness. The floor snapped shut instantly. Silence. Ryan and Jake stumbled back, shaking, terrified. Ryan whispered that was him. Jake said nothing, because they both knew now Lucas was gone, and whatever was in this forest wasn't just copying voices anymore, was learning how to be them. Then, from outside the structure, they heard it again, the voices, calling from the trees. One was Lucas, the other was Ryan. Jake. Both voices, perfectly sensed, right outside, waiting. Jake didn't respond. Didn't move. Didn't even breathe properly. Straight into the forest. No voices. No movement. Just trees. Endless trees. They didn't stop. Didn't look back. Just ran for what felt like hours. Until suddenly, they saw it. Lights. Faint. Through the trees. Jake gasped. Road, that's a road. He pushed harder, breaking through the forest edge, and collapsed onto cold pavement. A real road. Silent. Empty. But real. They laughed, half crying, half losing their minds. We made it. We're out. After a few minutes, Jake sat up, breathing hard. Ryan? No answer. Jake frowned. Ryan. He turned, and his stomach dropped because Ryan was sitting there. Right beside him, looking at him, smiling. That same wrong smile. Jake slowly backed away. No. Ryan tilted his head, unnaturally, and said, You left me back there. Jake's voice cracked. You're not Ryan. The thing's smile widened. Skin stretching too far, eyes too still. Then, and a voice layered with many others. You still don't understand. Jake turned, ready to run again, but froze, because behind him, the road was gone. No pavement, no lights, just forest. Again, endless, impossible. He looked back at the Ryan thing, and it whispered. You never left. The trees around him began to move, not swaying, not shaking, stepping, slowly closing in. Shadows stretching unnaturally, forming shapes between the trunks, dozens of them, watching, waiting. Then, from all directions, voices, hundreds of voices, calling names, crying, laughing, begging, every lost person, every trapped soul, all at once, and among them, a real voice. Wake. Fading? Jake heard it clearly. Don't listen. It was Ryan. Somewhere deep, somewhere below, still alive, still trapped. Jake fell to his knees, tears in his eyes. He didn't run, didn't scream, because he finally understood. This forest didn't just hunt people. It kept them, learned them, used them, and once it knew you, you were already part of it. The last thing ever found, months later, was a camera. Broken, half buried near the edge of the forest. The footage inside was corrupted, but one clip remained, just a few seconds long. It showed Jake, standing among the trees, perfectly still, looking directly into the camera, smiling, and behind him, thousands of figures, all wearing different faces, all slightly wrong. And Jake spoke, but not in his own voice. And many voices, layered together. You hear us calling. He paused. His smile widened. Come find us. The video ends. Authorities closed off that part of the forest. No entry. No explanation. But hikers still report strange things. Voices. Familiar ones. Calling them deeper. And sometimes, if you stand at the edge of those woods at night and listen closely, you might hear your own voice calling you from inside. So remember, if something in the forest ever sounds like you, don't answer, don't follow, and whatever you do, don't let it learn your voice, because once it does, you won't need to go into the forest. The forest will come to you. If you ever find a house in the middle of the forest, and it looks like it's waiting for you, don't go inside. Because some houses aren't abandoned, they're hungry. In 2015, deep inside the Allegheny National Forest, a solo hiker named Daniel Harper went missing. Daniel wasn't careless. He was experienced, documented every trip, carried GPS, backup supplies, even a satellite phone. His plan was simple, a 3-day hike through a less traveled trail. But on the second day, something went wrong. The last signal from his GPS showed something strange. He had gone off the trail. Not by accident, deliberately. Like he was heading towards something. When search teams later retraced his path, they found his footprints clearly. Steady, calm, no signs of panic, no struggle. Just one direction, deeper into the forest, until they reached it. A house. No records. No maps showing it. Just there, hidden between thick trees. Old, wooden, rotting, but standing, like it had been waiting. The front door, slightly open. Search teams reported something strange immediately. No animal sounds. No wind. No insects. That same dead silence, like the forest around it, was avoiding it. One of the officers pushed the door open. It creaked slowly, loud in the silence. Inside, dust. Old furniture. Broken walls. But something felt wrong, because despite looking abandoned, there were no cobwebs. No decay smell. Nothing disturbed, like the house was maintained. Waiting, he called out, "Daniel." No response. But then, from upstairs, a sound. Footsteps. Slow, dragging. Everyone froze. One officer whispered, "Someone's here." He moved carefully up the stairs. It stopped creaking, echoing, until they reached the hallway. 3 doors, all closed, but one of them was slightly moving, like something had just got inside. He approached, guns ready, heartbeats loud. The door slowly opened on its own. Inside, a bedroom, empty, except for one thing. A camera, placed on a chair, still recording. He picked it up, pressed play. The footage showed Daniel, inside the same house, breathing heavily. Nervous, he kept looking behind him. Then he whispered, "I found this place. I don't think I should be here." The camera shook as he moved through the rooms. Everything looked the same. But then, he entered a hallway. Same hallway. Same 3 doors. He pointed the camera at them. They keep changing. His voice trembled. "I checked this room already, but now it's different." He opened one door. Inside, another hallway. Impossible. Longer. Darker. Leading somewhere deeper. Daniel whispered, "This was here before." Then, a sound behind him. A door closing. He turned quickly. The hallway he came from was gone, replaced by a wall. His breathing got faster. This place is not right. The camera shook violently. Then, a voice from inside the house. Not human. "Stay." Daniel froze. "Who's there?" The voice came again. Closer. From behind the walls. From the floor. From everywhere. "Stay with me." The camera glitched, and for a split second, something appeared behind him. Cold. Dark. Its shape bending unnaturally. Watching him. "Then God," Daniel whispered. "I'm leaving." He turned, but the hallway stretched longer. Impossible distance. Doors multiplying. 5. 10. All slightly open. All leading somewhere else. Then, every door slammed shut. At once. "Yo-oh." Daniel screamed. Camera fell, pointing at the floor. Footsteps approached. Slow. Heavy. Then stopped. Right in front of the camera. And the last thing recorded. A voice. Right next to the mic. Whispering. "Hurry home now." The video ended. The officer stood in silence. No one spoke. No one moved. Because they all realized Daniel never left that house. And worse, he were inside it now. Then, from the hallway outside the room, they heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Dragging. And a voice. Calm. Told you. Daniel. The officers looked at each other. No one said it out loud, but they were all thinking the same thing. That was Daniel's voice. It was too calm, too controlled. Like something trying to sound human. The footsteps in the hallway stopped. Right outside the door. Silence. One of the officers slowly stepped forward, hand trembling on the doorknob. Stay ready. He pulled it open. The hallway was empty, but something had changed. The 3 doors were now flat. They all froze. Was that there before? No one answered, because they knew the truth. It was. A cold draft passed through the hallway. There were no windows open. Then, one of the doors creaked, slowly opening on its own. From inside, a faint light flickered, like a candle, and a voice, weak, shaking. Help me. One officer whispered, that's him. That's Daniel. Another shook his head immediately. No, don't trust it. The voice cried again. Louder now, asked Brett. DL. Hi, It sounded real. Too real. One of the younger officers couldn't take it. Him going in. And all the others shouted. He was already moving. He stepped inside the room. The moment he crossed the doorway, the door slammed shut behind him. P-O-O-M. O-P-N-I-T, he yelled from inside. They rushed forward, heard the handle, looked. From the inside, back up. One officer shouted. He kicked the door. Once. Twice. On the 3rd hit, the door burst open. They rushed in. Guns up. Ready. But the room was empty. No officer. No Daniel. Nothing. Just dust. In silence. One of them whispered, where did he go? And they heard it. From behind them. In the hallway. Footsteps. More than one. They turned slowly. And what they saw made their blood freeze. Standing in the hallway were 5 figures. All in police uniforms. All perfectly still. All facing them. But there were only 4 officers left. And the 5th one, the one who went into the room, was standing there too, among them. Smiling, but something was wrong. All 5 of them were smiling, the exact same way, too wide, too still, like copies. One of the real officers whispered, which one is him? No one knew. Because they all looked identical. Same uniforms, same faces, same everything. Then, all 5 spoke at once. Stay. The lights in the house flickered violently. The walls creaked, like they were breathing. The floor shifted slightly beneath their feet. The house was changing again, expanding, closing, moving, trapping. One officer panicked and fired. BAMG. The bullet hit one of the figures. But it didn't react, didn't bleed, didn't fall. It just stood there, still smiling. Then, its head tilted, unnaturally, and it stepped forward. The others followed, in perfect sync. The real officers backed away, but the hallway behind them was gone. Replaced by a wall. No. They weren't rat. The figures kept coming closer. Slow, deliberate, like they knew there was no way to run. Then, one of the copies spoke again, but this time, in Daniel's voice. Why are you trying to leave? Another one spoke, in the missing officer's voice. You just got here. Then all of them together. Layered voices. Different people. Same words. You're home now. The walls around them started shifting rapidly. Doors appearing. Disappearing. Hallways stretching. Twisting. One officer screamed, Are you NWATRE? Because there was nowhere to go. The house had no exit anymore. Only deeper rooms. More doors. More darkness. Then, everything went black. Total darkness. Silence. And in that silence, a whisper right next to one officer's ear. Almost comforting. You don't need to be afraid. A pause. Then, you belong here. The search team never came back out. Weeks later, a second team was sent, but when they reached the location, there was no house. No footprints. No signs anyone had ever been there. Just empty forest. Like nothing ever existed, except for one thing, a camera, lying on the ground, still working, still recording. When they checked the footage, it showed the inside of a house. That same house. Crowds shifting, doors appearing, figures walking slowly through hallways, and among them, the officers. All of them, including Daniel, walking, smiling, watching the camera. Like they knew someone would find it. And then, all of them stopped at once, turned toward the camera, and spoke together. Come inside. The video ended. But sometimes, hikers in that forest report something strange. No insects. Nothing. Same unnatural quiet. Then he says, why does this feel familiar? Even though HED never been there before. The trail ends suddenly. And there it is. The house. Exactly as described years ago. Old. Rotting. Standing where nothing should be. The front door, slightly open. The ranger whispers, this isn't on any map. He steps closer. The camera shakes slightly. His breathing gets heavier. Then, from inside, a voice. Calm. Welcoming. You made it. The ranger freezes. Who's there? No answer. Just the door creaking wider. Inviting him, pulling him in. He should have turned back, called Rebecca, left immediately, but instead, he stepped inside. The moment he crossed the doorway, the camera a glitch in. For a split second, the house didn't look broken anymore. It looked alive. Walls intact, lights faintly glowing. Like it was whole again. Then, back to decay, dust, rot, silence. He walks deeper. Room by room, everything looks abandoned, but not empty. Never empty. Then, he finds a mirror, old, cracked, hanging on the wall. He points the camera at it. At first, just his reflection. Normal. Then, it moves. A second too late. He freezes, slowly raises his hand. His reflection follows, but delayed, smiling. When he isn't, the ranger whispers, no. The mirror suddenly darkens, like something is standing behind the reflection. And then, figures appear, one by one, behind him. Not in the room, only in the mirror. Daniel, the officers, and missing hikers, all standing there, silent, watching him. And then, they all smile. At the same time, the ranger spins around. Nothing there. He turns back. The mirror is gone. The wall is empty, like it was never there. Then, the house shifts. Loud, violent, doors slamming, walls moving, the hallway stretching endlessly. He starts running. At every door he opens, bleeds deeper inside. No exit, no way out. Then, he hears it from behind him. Dozens of footsteps, solemnly, matching his speed, getting close just to get trapped. They become part of it. Another room, another voice, another face in the walls. So, if you ever find yourself in a forest and see a house that shouldn't be there, with the door slowly opening on its own, don't go inside. Don't even look too long, because once it notices you, it doesn't stop. It doesn't forget. And one day, when you least expect it, you won't find a house in the forest. The house will find you.